My name is Michael Potvin.
Can you speak a tiny bit louder?
My name is Michael Potvin.
And you're 31 years
I'll be
old?
32 on the 23rd December.
And you have a diagnosis of Tourette's and Asperger's?
Yep, Asperger's.
And you want to talk about your story?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, go ahead.
I would say the warning signs for my parents back in the 80s was I didn't talk until I was age 3. I didn't go through that, developing normally, babbling and all that, and then the lights turned out. So it's kind of different, but it's not normal. And I had tics. That's probably started in preschool. And I didn't get diagnosed with Tourette syndrome until I was age 10. So all they did, it seemed like, was, argue and say I can't help it. So I don't really trust people normally because you'd think the adults should know, but they don't. So basically, I have the DPTs at 2, 4, and 6, just like everybody else, not knowing any better. I got diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome in 1995, right around the same time that they put that in the medical dictionary.
Do you remember what sort of problems you were having that led to you having that diagnosis?
The tics is what really brought it out, because you go with what's obvious and go, okay, that's Tourette syndrome. Same as what Jim Eisenreich had. He played baseball for the Kansas City Royals. And then my psychiatrist said, oh, you got Asperger's syndrome too, which has actually turned out to be the tougher diagnosis.
You're doing really well, by the way, telling your story.
Yeah, you're awesome on here.
Fantastic job.
I'm just trying to kind of look through here.
It's a little bit quiet. I might come and sit next to you. Is that okay?
Sure.
It might just help people hear you a little bit better. You're not quiet. It's my thing.
I would also say,
Did you chat with me?
okay, the making friends part has been, kind of tough, because if I could say Asperger's syndrome in one sentence, all it is a deficit in executive functioning. But it's a lot, because the frontal lobes is right here, and that's what I feel the DPT just maimed.
So when was the last time you had a DPT?
Well, 1996. That was a DTAP. So it was 5 DPTs before probably age 5, and then 1 DTAP, a couple MMRs in my life, 4 polios, and then a Hep B shot, just in case I start showing needles or visit prostitutes, which is a joke.
And do you remember at any time how you felt after the vaccines? What it did to you?
Well, I really didn't question it, but you can, I suppose, get injured and not really realize it, because you can have minimal brain damage. I don't feel like I got injured the same way everybody else did with a 106 fever or not, but it's still affecting me. I got tics. I feel there was some mercury in the old vaccines that did it. And I remember when the doctor jabbed him in with hepatitis B, it's kind of hard in my neck, stiff like this.
Yeah, move around, get comfortable. This camera's pushing you back, so you're not so close as you think.
Well, when the doctor just put the needles in me, I start bleeding down my arm, and I start crying, and he goes, "What?" And it's like, hello, I got blood down my arm. It's like, are you stupid?
And did you feel different after the vaccines, though? Did you feel unwell at all?
I would say in 6th grade, I had a lot of trouble managing, middle school versus elementary. I couldn't get my homework done on time. So I think the executive function really took a punch in the gut at that time. So I kind of want to keep moving on through, a lot of the school years. I suppose when you go through a lot of emotional pain, you block out a lot of things. And if I want to just fast forward to age 16, because that was really, where I felt like, the Asperger's syndrome was really going to hurt me, because you don't live the cookie cutter life that everybody else does. I took a job at a grocery store, and I failed miserably because I couldn't manage my tasks. Multitasking is what it's also known as. And when I got the review, I just went home and just cried, because I thought, man, how does it feel to fail in front of your peers and people tell you you're no good?
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah. It doesn't feel good, but I took it harder than someone else, where they would have said, oh well, and take a job somewhere else. But you also realize there's certain things you can't do, but you got to figure out what you can.
Well, what do you do to manage it? What makes you feel? I mean, do you have any other medical issues? Do you have gut issues?
No, not at all. I feel like I got maybe some liver problems, and that's why I can't gain weight. My appetite's kind of shot.
So you find it difficult to gain weight?
Yeah. I should weigh about 180, but of course I'm not. It's not hard to figure that out. But I feel the hepatitis B could have affected me years later, but I'll get into that in a couple minutes.
Okay, and
Yeah.
are you on a special diet?
I have stayed off wheat since 2011. I decided that's enough. A lot of the acne cleared up, so it has helped, but there's no number one magic cure-all.
Sure.
As long as you get better, I suppose progress is better than none. I'll say, all these nasty
Sorry
flies.
about this fly. We got a.
I know, they get mean when they're about to die, don't
There's
they?
just one that lives in here.
Oh, well, we'll kill it.
We think it's the CDC remote control
I don't know.
fly buzzing
Strike
around.
my hair.
It's the fly on the wall.
As long as it
Driving
doesn't
me
land on my head.
insane.
Anyway, the other experience was September of 2001, right around 9/11, of course. But I thought, oh, I like girls now. It's like you got to ask one out, and when they slam you down, they tell you, leave me alone, have a boyfriend, whatever. A lot of girls, do that because they get asked out all the time. And then another time in foods class, she says, oh, you're weird, but it's almost her way of saying, you're a creep. Because, I just didn't act right, and you don't really pick up on the social cues of when to leave someone alone. So I kind of figured out.
I think you're amazing. I think
I figured out,
you're easy to be with. You speak really well. It's their loss.
Well, I've rehearsed it so well, but it's taken a lot of practice. I figured out, okay, one strike, first offense, you're out, because then you don't have to be that guy.
Right, well, you're never going. When you're around us, you're never going to be out. You're always going to be in.
No, but I was saying this because you don't want to be looked at as a creep.
Right, you would definitely. Not be.
I was on SSRIs too, which I wouldn't do that.
You what? Did you say? I didn't hear what you said.
I was on Prozac at the time too.
Oh, did your psychiatrist give you Prozac?
Yeah.
Well, stay away from psychiatrists. Literally, you don't need to be there.
Psychopsychiatrist, right?
Right.
Well, anyway, I was suicidal over getting rejected by a girl, but I think my problems were probably starting before that, so it was just a symptom of a bigger problem. So
you were going to tell us about Hep B. What happened with the Hep B? When did you have that?
I want to fast forward later because that's when it's been affecting me now. But okay, I did well in a printing company for 9 years. Age 20, I started there in 2005, got laid off, the place closed. I started to feel like I was having panic attacks about a couple months before the place closed down. I could see I was going to be laid off along with everybody else just because of, you see the writing on the wall. But I called in sick because I felt like I was going to have a panic or anxiety attack, whatever you call it. So I didn't think anything of it. And then when I wanted to start a job in August of 2014, I was laid off in April that year. I quit a job after a couple of days, and then a few other employers I just couldn't start the job with, so I kind of burned a few bridges too. So I feel that's from the hepatitis B shot. Sometimes problems don't surface right away. It's hard to prove, but I applied for disability too. I kind of felt like a failure for doing so, but hey, when you're hungry, I don't want to give up a paid-for house.
Who do you live with?
I've got my own house paid for, but I'm only surviving because of the love of mom and dad.
Oh. And so are you still on medication now?
No.
You're off all medication?
When I decided to get off Prozac, it was because a dentist said that can cause tooth decalcification. And I went home and I flushed all the Prozac down the toilet.
Wow, you just
You're
went
not
cold
supposed
turkey.
to. You're not supposed to do that.
Do that, by the way, if anyone's listening.
Well, I kind of went down a couple steps, and I went, oh, goodbye, you're gone.
I'm glad you're off that awful stuff, and I'm
No.
glad, I mean, you seem to. What are the biggest problems that you have now, today, in your life?
It's like I just can't handle stress as easily. But if I can try to get more comfortable, I'll probably need a chiropractor after this.
Yeah, sorry.
I got a Cosnets one, but
just sit comfortable. Just do what I do. Just like
like
this.
you're at home, right?
Yeah, just
Okay.
I'm at home on the sofa watching
I'll tell you,
TV.
there is a couple of books I've read. I want you to sign the Vax DVD, by the way.
Sure.
You ever seen this one by Harris Coulter? Vaccination and Social Violence? You can't find this book, but he explained that a lot of the people in
How
prison.
did you find it?
I love to dig. He also wrote the book with Barbara Loe Fisher, A Shot in the Dark. He said, a lot of the criminals in prison have learning disabilities. Their IQ is 80 instead of 100. They got dyslexia, their ADHD. And he thought, a lot of this has to be from vaccination. And he said, the SAT and ACT scores started going on in the early 1960s. And he thinks that's when because of the DPT started in like the 1940s. But that's a lot of conjecture. So this book is not like reading a John Grisham novel. I'll just say the name of it. It's called Vaccination, Social Violence, and Criminality, The Medical Assault on the American Brain by Harris Coulter. It's a $50 book, so it's not something you're going to get at the library or half-price books. Sorry.
Well, thank you for telling us about that.
Where's all the hearts on there?
They're coming. See these hearts here?
Well, I'm on
You're
Twitter.
on your way. Much love and hugs.
Okay.
You are. Oh, look. You are awesome.
Okay.
Hearts, hearts, hearts. Those are just for you. They're not for me. They're for you.
Well, I don't know if I can heal autism, but maybe
You got
make
love
it
it.
easier to deal with.
Look how
I'm
much they
31.
love. Look how much they love you. Smart guy.
Well, you want to know when my birthday is? December 23rd. Every day feels like 1984.
Loads of hearts
I'm on
coming
Twitter.
in.
PotvinMJ 1984.
Say that again.
PotvinMJ 1984.
POTVIN.
Yes, and no, I'm not related to the hockey players. Vern Gagne, I am related to, though.
Well, we think you're amazing. Have you written your name on the bus?
I would like to, and I got a name of a cousin that dropped dead from a shot. I got the name on my phone. It's one of those long Finnish names, but I will get it right.